the heart of Calabar, there lived a girl named Adaize, whose beauty was like the first rain after a long dry season, refreshing, captivating, and talked about in every corner of the village. Her skin glowed like polished bronze, her eyes sparkled with mischief, and when she walked through the market, even the old men would pause their conversations to watch her pass. But Adaize had something else besides beauty. She had standards, very high standards. He must be tall, she would tell her mother, counting on her fingers, at least 6 feet, and handsome, not just ordinary handsome, but the kind that makes other women jealous. And rich, mama, very, very rich. I'm not talking about a man with one shop. I want a man with businesses, with cars, with a house that has 2 stories. Her mother would shake her head and sigh deeply. My daughter, beauty fades like smoke. What matters is a good heart and a man who will treat you well. Mama, please, Adaize would wave her hand dismissively. Those sayings are for ordinary girls. I am not ordinary. The suitors came like bees to honey. First was Emeka, the son of the village chief. He was tall, yes, but Adaize looked at his face and decided he wasn't handsome enough. His nose is too wide, she told her friends, giggling. Then came Obina, a young banker from the city, very handsome with a smile that could melt butter. But when Adaize learned he was only a junior officer, she sniffed. Junior? I need a managing director at least. Chukudi, the successful businessman, came next. He had money, oh yes, plenty of it. 3 cars, 2 houses, and a thriving import business. But Adaize measured him with her eyes and shook her head. He's barely 5'9". I cannot marry a man who I tower over in heels. What will people say? Her father, Papa Adaize, sat her down one evening under the mango tree. Ada, my daughter, you are rejecting good men. None of these men is perfect, but they are good men who will cherish you. Marriage is not a shopping list where you tick all the boxes. Papa, I know what I want, Adaize replied stubbornly. Is it not too much to ask for everything? Am I not beautiful enough to deserve the best? Her father looked at her with sad eyes but said nothing more. What could he say to a daughter who had convinced herself that her beauty was a permanent currency? Adaize's friends started getting married one by one. First was her childhood friend Ngozi, who married a teacher. Adaize attended the wedding with a superior smile playing on her lips. A teacher, she whispered to another friend. Imagine settling for a teacher's salary. I could never. Then, Amara got married to a mechanic who owned a small workshop. The wedding was modest but filled with genuine joy. Adaize barely stayed for the reception. These girls have no standards, marrying just any man because they are desperate. Not me. I will wait for the right one. Her mother overheard this and pulled her aside. Ada, do you see the happiness in your friends' eyes? Do you see how their husbands look at them with love? That is worth more than all the height and money in the world. Mama, you don't understand modern love, Adaize replied, scrolling through her phone, looking at pictures of celebrity weddings. This is what I want, this level, not some ordinary village life. 25 became 28, 28 became 32. The suitors still came, but less frequently now. And Adaize noticed something else. They were different, less impressive, less eager. One day, a man came who was tall and handsome, but when she asked about his business, he mentioned he was still building. Adaize laughed him out of her father's compound. Still building at this age? What has he been doing all this time? But at night, alone in her room, Adaize would sometimes feel a strange emptiness. She would hear the sounds of her neighbor's children playing and laughing, and something would twist in her chest. She pushed the feeling away. I'm still young, she told herself. My time will come. 32 became 35. Now, when Adaize went to weddings, she was no longer a guest celebrating with friends. She was the single one, the one people whispered about. Still not married, such a waste. She was so beautiful. Was, past tense. She began to notice that word. Her friends now came to visit with their children, and the conversations had changed. They talked about schools and baby food and husbands who snored. Adaize had nothing to contribute except stories about her job at the local government office and the latest movies she had watched. Ada, it's not too late, Ngozi said gently one day. There are still good men out there. maybe you should adjust your expectations a little. Adaize's pride flared up. Adjust? You mean settle? Never. I'd rather stay single than settle. At 38, Adaize stood before her mirror one morning and really looked at herself for the first time in years. The beauty was still there, yes, but it was different now, softer. Lines had appeared at the corners of her eyes. Her skin, though still lovely, didn't have that youthful glow that once stopped traffic. She thought of a suitor from years ago, Dubem, who had been so kind, so patient. He was tall and reasonably handsome and owned a successful pharmacy. But she rejected him because he drove a Camry instead of a Range Rover. "Where is Dubem now?" she asked her mother casually one day. "Oh, he's married now," Mama Nena replied, not looking up from the vegetables she was sorting. "His wife just had their third child, a beautiful family. He built a big hospital in town. Very successful man now." Each word was like a small stone dropping into Adaize's stomach. She began to notice other things too. When she walked through the market now, the stares were different. Respectful, yes, but no longer admiring. She was Auntie Adaize now, no longer that beautiful Adaize girl. The morning of her 40th birthday, Adaize woke up to a silent house. Her parents were getting old, moving slowly, speaking softly. There was no husband to surprise her with breakfast in bed, no children to jump on her with birthday wishes and handmade cards. Just silence. She sat on her bed and looked around her room, the same room she'd slept in since she was a girl. Her friends all had their own homes now, built with their husbands, filled with life and noise and love. Some of those homes were not mansions, some of those husbands were not millionaires, but they were homes nonetheless. And what did she have? A list, a mental checklist that no man had ever completely satisfied. That afternoon, her mother brought her a small cake. Just the two of them sat and ate it in the kitchen. "Mama," Ada said quietly, her voice cracking, "I think I've made a terrible mistake." Her mother reached across and held her hand. She didn't say, "I told you so," or "you should have listened." She just squeezed her daughter's hand and let her tears fall. "It's not too late, my daughter," Mama Nena whispered. "It's never too late to change." After her 40th birthday, something broke inside Adaize's pride and something else emerged: panic. She created profiles on every dating app. She told everyone she knew that she was ready to settle down now. She attended every party, every church program, every social gathering, her eyes scanning desperately for eligible men. But the world had changed while she'd been waiting. The men her age were married. The ones who weren't were either deeply flawed or, like her, too set in their ways. The younger men saw her as too old. The older men wanted younger women. One evening, a man named Okon expressed interest. He was 55, a widower, short, with a belly that hung over his belt. He wasn't handsome, he wasn't rich, just comfortable. He had 3 grown children. The old Adaize would have laughed at the very thought, but the new Adaize, the desperate Adaize, said yes to a date. They met at a local restaurant. Okon was kind enough, but he talked mostly about his late wife and how no one could replace her. He made it clear he was looking for a companion, someone to cook his meals and keep his house, not a partner or a great love. Adaize sat across from him, smiling politely, and thought, "Is this what I've been reduced to? Is this my price for waiting?" Unable to sleep one night, Adaize did something she'd been avoiding. She looked up her old suitors on social media. Emeka, the chief's son she had rejected for his wide nose, was now a senator. His wife was lovely and their children were beautiful. The wide nose didn't seem to matter in any of the photos of their happy family. Obina, the junior banker, was now a bank director. He lived abroad with his wife and 2 kids, traveling the world, posting pictures from Paris, Dubai, New York. Chukudi, the one who was too short, had built an empire. His businesses had expanded across West Africa. His wife, who stood nearly as tall as him in the photos, looked at him with such adoration. Height didn't matter at all. Each profile she looked at was a window into a life she could have had. Each happy family photo was a door she had slammed shut with her own hands. She closed her laptop and cried until her pillow was soaked. Adaize's father fell ill that year, and in his final days she sat by his bedside, holding his weathered hand. "Papa, I'm sorry," she whispered. "You tried to tell me." Her father, weak but still lucid, squeezed her hand. My daughter, life has taught you what my words could not. That is also a way of learning, though more painful. I wasted my life, Papa. I wasted it chasing a fantasy. You have not wasted your life, he said firmly, using what little strength he had. You have learnt, and you still have time. But Ada, listen to me now as you did not listen before. Happiness is not found in a list of qualities. It is found in the heart of someone who truly loves you. The tallest, richest, most handsome man means nothing if he does not cherish you. And a simple man of average height and modest means can give you a life of joy if he truly loves you. I understand now, Papa. I understand. Then stop looking for everything and start looking for something real. Look for kindness. Look for character. Look for a man who will still want to hold your hand when you are old and grey. Not because you are beautiful, but because you are you. Those were among the last meaningful words her father spoke. He passed away 3 days later. At 42, Adaize still isn't married. She may never marry. That is a reality she has had to accept. But something has changed in her. The desperation has faded, replaced by a quiet wisdom. She volunteers at a local orphanage now, pouring the love she thought she'd save for her own children into kids who need it. She started mentoring young girls in the village, and her message to them is always the same. Don't make my mistake. Don't hold out for a fantasy while real blessings pass you by. Love is not a checklist. A good man is not measured by his height, his looks, or his bank account alone. Measure him by his character, his kindness, his integrity. Some of the girls listen, some don't. She sees herself in the ones who don't, and her heart breaks a little each time. One day, she ran into Ngozi, her old friend, at the market. Ngozi's husband, the teacher, was now a headmaster. They'd built a modest but comfortable life. Their 3 children were healthy and happy. You know, Ada, Ngozi said, my husband isn't tall or rich, and some might not call him handsome, but he makes me laugh every single day. He's been faithful and present. He's raised our children with love. When I was sick last year, he bathed me and fed me and never complained. That's my wealth. That's my treasure. Adaize hugged her friend and felt genuinely happy for her. No envy, no bitterness, just pure happiness. That in itself was growth. As she walked home that evening, Adaize thought about the girl she used to be. So beautiful, so confident, so certain that she deserved only the best of everything. That girl had no idea that the best wasn't a list of qualities, but a person of character. Beauty had opened many doors for her, but pride had slammed them all shut. And now, in the autumn of her life, she was left with wisdom that came too late to save her from loneliness, but perhaps just in time to save others from the same fate. She looked up at the evening sky and whispered a prayer. Not for a husband, not anymore, but for peace. And maybe, if there was still a good man out there who could see past her past and her age and love her for who she was now, she would be grateful. Not because he was tall or handsome or rich, but simply because he was real.